First things first, what are these barriers? Well, they're not always giant concrete walls or locked doors. Sometimes they are, sure, like financial struggles, lack of resources, or tough circumstances, but more often, they're invisible. They're the voices in your head saying, "You're not good enough," or "Who do you think you are to dream that big?" They're the doubts that creep in when you're about to take a risk. They're the habits that keep you stuck in the same old patterns. And sometimes, they're the people around you, well-meaning or not, who tell you to play it safe, to settle, to stop reaching for the stars. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, I met a young woman named Sarah at one of my workshops. Sarah had a dream. She wanted to start her own business, a little bakery that specialized in gluten-free treats. She had the recipes, the passion, and even a small savings account to get started. But every time she took a step forward, a barrier popped up. First, it was her family saying, "Bakeries fail all the time. Why risk it?" Then it was her own fear whispering, "What if I'm not good enough? What if I lose everything?" For months, she stayed stuck, paralyzed by those barriers. Does that sound familiar to anyone out there? I bet it does. But here's the thing about barriers. They're not as solid as they seem. They're not unbreakable. The first step to breaking them down is changing how you see them. You see, Sarah didn't realize it first, but those obstacles weren't stop signs. They were stepping stones. That doubt from her family, it was a chance to prove herself. That fear in her mind, it was a signal she cared deeply about her dream. The trick is to flip the script. Let's break this down. Imagine you're facing a barrier right now. Maybe it's a job you want but feel underqualified for, or a goal that seems too big, like running a marathon or writing a book. What's the first thing you tell yourself? Probably something like, "I can't do this." But what if you asked a different question? What if you said, "How can I make this happen?" That simple shift from "I can't" to "How can I" is where the magic begins. It's not about denying the barrier exists. It's about refusing to let it define you. I want you to try something with me right now. Close your eyes. Yes, right now, unless you're driving, of course, and picture that barrier in front of you. See it clearly. Maybe it's a wall, a mountain, a locked gate. Now imagine yourself picking up a hammer or a ladder or even a key. You don't have to know exactly how you'll get past it yet. Just see yourself taking action. Feel that power in your hands. That's the mindset we're building today. The tools to break through. So, how do we actually break these barriers down? It's not just wishful thinking. It takes action, strategy, and grit. Let's talk about 3 tools you can start using today. Tool 1, knowledge. Every barrier has a weak spot, and knowledge is how you find it. When Sarah was scared her bakery would fail, she didn't just sit there. She researched. She took a free online course on small business management. She studied her competitors. She learned how to market on social media. Knowledge turned her fear into a plan. Whatever your barrier is, there's something you can learn to chip away at it. Read a book, watch a tutorial, ask someone who's been there. Knowledge is power, my friends. Tool 2, small steps. You don't have to leap over the wall in one jump. You can climb it one foothold at a time. Sarah didn't open her bakery overnight. She started by baking for friends, then selling a local market, then saving up for a small storefront. Every tiny win built her confidence and momentum. So what's your small step today? If you want that job, update your resume. If you want to run that marathon, lace up your shoes and jog around the block. Small steps add up to big breakthroughs. Tool 3, belief. This is the big one. You have to believe you're worth it. Worth the effort, worth the struggle, worth the success on the other side. Sarah had to believe her dream mattered, even when others didn't. And you have to believe in yourself too. I know it's hard when life's been kicking you down, when you've failed before, when the odds feel stacked against you. But hear me loud and clear. You are enough. You're capable, and you deserve to achieve more than you've ever imagined. Now, let's get real for a second. Breaking barriers isn't a straight line. There will be setbacks. Sarah's first market stall, it rained all day, and she barely sold a thing. She cried that night, thinking she'd made a mistake. But the next weekend, she showed up again, rain or shine, and sold out in 2 hours. Setbacks don't mean you're failing. They mean you're moving. They're proof you're in the game. When I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher. Not a professor yet, just a regular classroom teacher. I applied to dozens of schools and got rejection after rejection. One principal even told me I didn't have the right look for the job, whatever that meant. I could have stopped there, let that barrier win. But I kept going, took night classes, volunteered, built my skills, and eventually I didn't just teach, I inspired. That's what setbacks do. They test you, but they also shape you. Here's where it gets exciting. Breaking barriers isn't just about getting past one obstacle. It's about what's waiting on the other side. Sarah didn't just want a bakery. She wanted to create a space where people with dietary restrictions could feel included, where her kids could see her chase her dreams, where she could prove to herself she was stronger than her fears. What's your bigger vision? Why does this matter to you? Because when you connect to that why, no barrier can hold you back. Imagine this with me. You a year from now, having broken through. Maybe you're holding your first published book, or crossing that marathon finish line, or standing in a home you bought with your own hard work. Picture it, feel it. That's not a fantasy. That's your future if you decide to fight for it. So, my friends, here's your challenge from Professor Ken. Today, identify one barrier in your life, one thing holding you back, and take one step to break it down. Learn something new, make a small move, or just tell yourself, I've got this. Because you do. You have everything you need to achieve more than you ever imagined. The barriers? They're real, but they're not permanent. You are stronger than they are. If this speech hit home for you, drop a comment below. Tell me your barrier, your step, your dream. Let's build this community of barrier breakers together. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, keep pushing, keep believing, and keep breaking through.